But the American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you. Me too. Me too.
You know? Enough of the emails. Let's talk about the real issues facing America.
Welcome back to Harwood. It's like enough already. Anyway, Bernie Sanders is riding high with the Democratic base after last night's debate. But according to Donald Trump, Bernie blew it last night, big time. In an interview today with NBC's Katy Tur, Trump praised Hillary Clinton's performance. He says Bernie gave it away.
Bernie made a mistake. He got a great couple of seconds, but he took a situation that's a very serious situation where Hillary is being investigated by the FBI, and he gave it away. He just gave it away. He can never bring it up again. And it's not like he's winning. He's losing. He's losing actually big if you look countrywide. So I think he made a mistake. I think she did her job. I think she got through the debate. I personally thought she won the debate. I thought Bernie was off. He was not doing so well. I thought that the other people shouldn't even be up there, to be honest with you. I thought a couple of them were ridiculous. They left her alone. They didn't hit her. It was an amazing thing. I mean, even taking away the emails. I mean, that's a big thing to take away all of a sudden. He just gave that up, which for him, I think is a very big mistake. Well, from a Trump point of view, clearly it is. Anyway, he characterized Sanders as clueless on the issue of trade. The one thing I noticed he was saying is that he thinks that a lot of these trade deals are bad. The difference is I'll make them great deals, whereas he doesn't know where to begin. He wouldn't know where to begin because I watched him talking about trade, and he would have no idea. He's not a negotiator. That's not what he does. And he can complain, but he won't be able to change it, whereas I'll change it. Well, that sounds smart. Anyway, today Trump campaign ripped into Bernie on social media, describing Sanders as unfit to be commander-in-chief.
The world is a dangerous place. We need a tough, strong leader. And it's not this guy.
Bernie can't even defend his own microphone. I thought he'd say something sophisticated, like he was a conscientious objector. No, they just go with he can't stand up. Let me ask you about having become an expert on Mr. Trump.
Trumpologist.
Does he go after the skinny kid on the beach, or does he take on the challenge? It seems like he goes after the losers rather than the challengers.
Both. I think he does both. I think he, we saw him hit Jeb really hard, and Jeb was not the skinny kid on the beach by any stretch. He was, he has been the presumptive nominee in a lot of ways. We're seeing him hit Marco Rubio as well, who could come up in the polls. I do think that this Sanders stuff is interesting. I think that maybe there's some psychological stuff going on with the fact that Sanders gets really big crowds also. Yeah, maybe that's why he's hitting him.
He appeals with the anti-establishment message.
They also sound similar on some things. Trade, for one. Also, Citizens United, campaign finance. So I don't think they're.
Maybe didn't like the billionaire thing. I mean, Bernie's biggest lines last night when you go to these groups that we're all rooting for him out there, it's all billionaires, 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 and billionaires. And there's Trump, a billionaire.
But Trump says the same thing on the trails, that he wants to make it harder for, or wants hedge funders to pay more taxes. So in some ways.
He hate them.
No, well, in some ways.
Bernie makes them the villain.
Yeah, he does, definitely. I think that Sanders is an interesting new enemy for Donald Trump, but I think. I don't think anybody is off limits for him. Ben Carson so far has been off limits in some ways. Ted Cruz he hasn't hit, which I find surprising.
Cruz has drafted him. Cruz is riding right behind him.
Yes, but he has had no instance where he's just backed off.
Does Trump behave differently? There's a great interview you did with him where he said something the other day that he's going to change his tone, be a little less obnoxious about ethnicity and things like that drive me crazy, about people, about Mexicans, about Obama being from Africa and all this nonsense. He's going to play down what he calls political incorrectness.
He said that earlier today, he said to me that I said, would you change anything about the way you've campaigned this past 119 days? And he said that he would change some of the wording.
Here he is. I have it on tape. Here, Trump, he said he is going to watch his words ahead. Here he is.
So what have you learned for the next 118 days?
I think I could be perhaps a little bit, I can watch my words a little bit, maybe be a little bit more politically correct. But to be honest with you, I think one of the reasons I am doing well is because I don't want to. Being politically correct takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. I can be more politically correct than anybody that you've ever interviewed. But it takes a lot of time to do it, and you're going around in different circles, and you're never getting there. We don't have time for it anymore, Katie.
You know, it takes a lot of time not to make fun of your opponent, your female opponent's face. It takes a lot of time not to do that. Are you kidding me? It's pretty easy not to be a cad. It takes a lot of time not to say the president's an illegal immigrant. It takes a lot of time to say that Mexicans are rapists. It's a lot easier not to do that. It's a lot easier to be reasonable.
This is Donald Trump, and when Donald Trump says that maybe he'd change some things, that is surprising, but it is still Donald Trump, and he is still not talking about policy specifics. He may sound nicer in that interview, but he's still not getting into the issues.
Does he know he's crested?
I think that maybe the campaign thinks they have to change tactics a little bit.
He's always under 25. He's just around there. That's his ceiling.
Well, in order to get anybody to get the nomination, once this field starts to narrow, he's going to have to widen his base of support. And to do that,
a
lot of people
Carson.
you speak with
just knock out Carson.
Well, a lot of people you speak with say they don't like him attacking other people.